Hi everyone, it's Terminator here. How are you? This is a 3-on-4 game between Huntsman and 4 other random players. These games are pretty good, a bit of fun. You know, nothing serious. We're just mucking around. And I thought I'd do a replay of this one because this was a really good game. Okay, so the 3 Huntsman guys who are playing in this game is Trip, myself, and Shotgun Rusty. Okay, well this is the start of the game, and Shotgun Rusty is on this side, and Trip is on this side, and I'm in the center. Okay, so we're actually going to attack on this flank, whilst trying to hold in the middle and on the left. So here you see I'm moving my cav back down this end. Okay, so Trip has got the double hammer, which he of course invented, and it is quite awesome. And I've tried to actually do it myself, but no one can do it like Trip does. So with the double hammer, what it does is it draws all the light fire onto the militia, and it enables, you know, Trip to get maximum use of his, you know, ranged units. This guy, it was actually quite a good idea, this guy stacking this side, because I think he anticipated this is where the brunt of the attack was going to come. So he didn't do such a bad job. Okay, so my cab's come across now, and it's been countered with some Prussian cav coming across as well. But you can see the Trip's lights aren't taking a great deal of damage because the opponent's fire is being concentrated, to a large extent anyway, on the militia in the front. Okay, so this is a really strong move here, coming around with line, so thus enabling bringing the lines into the fight. So he counters quite well. It's probably the right thing to do is come and push up and try and shoot at some of those Trip's lights. But as you'll see, I'll commit one of my lancers into this depleted unit. Can get a bit messy with his lights. I think that's part of the problem he did have, was trying to select his lights and bring them out to the front. So with one unit of lancers doing a bit of disruption in the back there, Trip box as well. Okay, and soon, but with that disruption we're only committing one cav unit. Now our opponents, they've already committed I think 3, and Trip pushes up to be able to shoot into this disruption. Okay, so now we've got more cav coming, and this is a bit of a problem, so I'll commit my cav now from all sides to try and hold the cav into this area here and not get amongst Trip's line infantry. It's a pretty important thing to do, is not to get your own line caught up in any disruption. So I'm then targeting each of my lancers into his lancers, but keeping them in amongst his area and not into Trip's area. Okay, so the disruption's, you know, working well at the moment, and they've had to commit quite a deal of cav, and I've committed my cav as well, but serve the purpose to get that disruption happening in amongst their line. And what I'm trying to do here is trying to push my cav away from Trip. That way units will tend to follow as well. Trip actually asked me during here if I could try and draw his cav back towards his lines and where he was going to box, but unfortunately my cav died and couldn't sustain. Particularly, like, I think the heavy cav was, doing quite a bit of damage, as well as, he did manage to box as well. Okay, so still not a lot of activity anywhere else in the game. Still trying to concentrate on, which side is going to win this flank. But we managed to have gain a bit of an advantage on this side, which was good. Okay, so the France decides to commit their lights, and while they're facing towards Trip, I'll bring my musketeers in on this side to try and get a few, or to actually force France not to actually face and reform on this side. So now I've pulled back out again. That's the importance of actually winning a flank, is it's very hard then for your opponents to actually turn and face the flank, because you can push up like I'm doing here, and Trip's maximising his firepower onto individual units to try and eliminate them as quick as possible. So yeah, so France is still facing his lights towards me, which is what we're trying to do, while Trip can just finish off the rest of Britain and really form a strong line to roll down this flank. Okay, so again France is moving his lights to try and face Trip's army. So again I'll push up. Okay, so at this stage our opponents have pretty much decided that there's no point waiting for the inevitable, and they're going to actually attack. Okay, so I have my line in here which will help support shooting at the lights. Okay, so I'm concentrating my lights on this one side. France hasn't committed too strongly up here, otherwise I would have to rethink. So I've actually moving one of my musketeers onto the Britain's flank. I think France was a little bit preoccupied with trying to contain Trip on that side and didn't really realise the importance of moving up there. I've got my guard unit in here against, looks like a shitload of line and light, but I'm planning to just retreat on this side and use my lights and try and break through on the flank here. Unfortunately I couldn't really support shotgun much on this side, but thankfully he had 1 foot guard, but defensibles actually took a lot of fire as well, which was really good. Trip's trying to destroy what's left of France, and I'm trying to shoot at the flank of France. Now I'm still moving along the flank of Britain. So this is an important part of Napoleon, is getting on the flanks and trying to maximise your firepower on one unit at a time if possible, because that way you really do eliminate units quickly. What shotgun did here was the right thing to do when you're actually losing a flank, is actually to sort of bring it back and work on the other flank. It's got some cav coming through. Okay, so I've had to sort of tactically retreat, some might say, my guard, so I can concentrate on, with my light advantage, trying to shoot away here. Unfortunately, shotgun crashed, but he had managed to do a considerable amount of damage anyway to Prussia, and it really didn't have a lot of bearing on the outcome. My guard units on this side, against, you know, pretty much standard British foot, the guard units are very strong. I should comfortably win that. So I'll reform a line, a new front very soon. So Prussia's now eliminated what was left of Shotgun Rusty's army, because the AI is borderline retarded, and the old guard's pretty much depleted now, and Trips concentrating his fire on individual units. That is so important, and I've probably said that quite a few times, but it's important that I sort of stress that, because that's very much a fundamental key aspect of Napoleon, or any TW game, is being able to, you know, concentrate on particular units. Just makes good sense, really. I'll just pull back a little bit, wait for Trip to finish France off. Consolidate what's left. So I'll probably skip ahead here a little bit, or actually might put it into just fast forward, just to show you the end bit. Otherwise it'll just go on for a little bit too long. So Trip's taking the right, and I'll take the centre and the left, and we'll try and see how we're still working, even though we have quite a large superiority now. It's important to still maintain good flanking presence in games. There is, you know, it's all practice. That's why you'll never find us not trying to flank. We'll just keep manoeuvring to get on people's flanks. Like I said, it's all good practice, and you'll get to see and get a better feel of the game by choosing to try and flank at all possible moments. Okay, so once again, Trips, well, there's really not much you can say, really. It's easily routed. But see how I manoeuvred, tried to try and get onto Trip's flank as well. And again, a V shape against our opponent, maintaining fire onto a flank. But all in all, that was a pretty good game. I think we all enjoyed it. It was a bit of a shame Rusty crashed to desktop, but yeah, you get that quite a few times. Okay, well, that was the end of the game. Yeah, the stats, pretty good kills, and our opponents actually played pretty well, and it was a pretty fun game, actually. So thanks very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thanks, bye.